Hello, 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 and welcome to the Millennial Mrs. Podcast. I am your host, Renee Watson, and if you cannot tell, I am super duper excited. I have Miss Brittany on today. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, Trinae. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time to the Millennial Misses, the purpose of the Millennial Misses is to have a platform for millennials to come and to be honest and to spread their story, to tell their story authentically, to just be intentionally unapologetic about who they are, about their journey, about how they got to this journey where we are today, and to give some advice to somebody else who may be going through the exact same thing. So Brittany has kind of been on this journey with me with the Millennial Misses for a minute, as she does all of my marketing and branding. And so every time I have an idea, of course, I go to Brittany and I say, hey, I want to do this. And so she has kind of been here with the conception of it. So definitely want to thank her for coming and being a part of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Today, for this month, it's December, it's the holidays. And I just want to like jump right on in there. Brittany, tell me about who you are and all the things, Brittany.
Hello, everyone. I am Brittany Vinay. I am a mom, a professional unicorn, as I call myself, because I like to sprinkle a little glitter on everything that I do. Professionally, I am a brand and website designer. I've built an amazing brand that I absolutely love. It's based around being authentic. It's called Be Real Creative Studio. And I've been able to dive into so many things from my business that I never thought possible, which includes speaking and coaching and a few other things that are coming soon. Mm-hmm. And so I now am able to empower divorcees and single moms to also build their own profitable and purpose-driven brands.
I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Tell me how we got here. Before we had kids, before we became a wife, before any of that, tell me a little bit about you, little Brittany,
All
baby
right.
Brittany.
So growing up, I grew up with a wonderful family, kind of like, the Huxtables, mom and dad, they've been married for about 34 years, I believe, going on. I have an amazing brother. We are super tight, small family. But growing up, um, I was always super ambitious. I was always the chatterbox.
I would have never been able to tell.
Yes, I got in trouble a lot for this mouth. I got in trouble a lot for rolling my eyes. I've always been a little sassy.
I wonder where Sydney gets that from.
Right, right. But you know what? I like to think that I kept everything light and fun. And so I'm sure my family would thank me for that.
Where would they be without you?
Where would they be?
So, at what age did you get married?
I was about 24 or 25,
And how long were you guys together before you got married?
about a year.
Okay, okay. So tell me what made you get married?
Well, at that time,
Wait, we
and
gotta take away all the negative. Let's go back to the warm and fuzzy because it had to be a warm and fuzzy time then, right?
of
So,
course,
total disclaimer: the warm and fuzzies are gone. So don't watch it and think that there's some rekindlization because there's not. We're just going back down memory lane, okay?
I don't double back.
So when the warm and fuzzies, what made you decide to get married?
At that time in that season of my life, I met someone and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I felt amazing. And at that time it was, I, you couldn't have told me that we weren't super compatible at that time. We had a lot of fun together. Yeah, he really became a best friend. And it seemed very right to start a life together.
And how long were you guys married?
We were legally married for about 5 years or so.
Okay. We were legally married. Okay, so how long were we like in real life married? Since we not going with legal.
Wow.
The podcast. And one thing about the podcast, we get down to it.
She got down to it. We were real life married. I'm gonna say we were real life married not that long. Not that long. But married nonetheless.
Got you, got you. So when it comes down to your decision for you guys to go your separate ways, tell me about some of your thought patterns. Like, how did you get to that?
You know, it was a couple things. One thing that was really pivotal in me realizing that this isn't for me, is becoming a stay-at-home mom in the marriage. During that time, I started to really lose myself. There was no like I didn't have that spark, that flare, that vibrance that I typically do. I'm like in school to get my master's degree. I was always career oriented, and now I'm at home and feeling like I'm losing my independence. And like I'm in a sense by myself. And so that was tough. Because I started to think, was this supposed to be like my path? Was I supposed to be here? And another thing that I realized after understanding that I needed therapy to help me figure the stuff out, I realized I hadn't taken the time to commit to my personal development, my spiritual development. And I just really started to learn myself as a woman and what my true needs were and who I really was. And I knew that the marriage was not something that I could stay in.
Okay.
So I opted out of it. I like to say I opted out of it.
Opted out of it because there are options. There are options.
Options. Yeah.
What are some of the because I like to say that whenever you're making a big decision like that, that there are certain things, especially growing up in a two-parent household, that there are certain things that you go through internally before you actually act on it. So what are some of the emotions and the feelings that you were going through when you were deciding to opt out?
Well, it took me a while to actually do it. And the reason why is because I was scared. I did not have a job anymore. What am I going to do? How am I going to start over? I knew it would not be easy. I knew it would be a challenge. And so, do I want to do that? Do I want to put my children through that? There was a point where I was like, well, maybe it'll work, and we'll see the kids will grow up and it'll get better, or can stay for the kids. I experienced all those emotions, those thoughts, and therapy was the really the key to helping me release those things. And I really built myself up over time to be like, no, this is what we're gonna do. And I planned it.
About their plan. What did that look like for those
So
that may be thinking or trying to figure it out? I think that oftentimes people, especially young people, we go into situations and we kind of feel like you have to do certain things, right?
Mhm.
And many times it's like well, you can really do what you want and you can like make your own path and it doesn't have to be so cookie cutter.
Mhm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your plan and how it worked for you.
Well, it really starts, and I know some of you are like, oh, I was like, oh, on this date, I'm gonna do this and da 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 da. It wasn't like that. It started with me really becoming secure within myself and boosting myself up to become like confident again and get that vibrance back, that sassiness back, right? So I remember, not even I would just, every day, like throw on some leggings, a little sweatshirt, tie my hair up in a hair wrap, go out. I started sprucing myself up. Doing my hair every day, doing my makeup more and more. I remember I asked my mom, Christmas was coming up. She was like, what do you want? I was like, I want Chanel No. 5 perfume.
Period.
Started wearing my perfume. And building my business was pivotal because it allowed me to, first of all, make my own money. And I realized I was building something. At that time, I did not imagine it would be what it is now, but I was building something. And I said, you know what? If you're gonna do this, you'll be okay. And when I knew I would be okay, I called my attorney.
Okay, okay.
And I followed her direction the entire duration of the divorce.
Awesome, awesome. I think that of course the goal is not to say that everyone you have to get divorced or that you have to take this path, but I also think that there is normalcy. Like I feel like I grew up like people got divorced, but people didn't talk about it. It was like an anomaly, like, oh, this is like sort of like the scarlet letter. Like I'm purposely wearing, so I did this purposely, right? So like divorce is sometimes looked at as like the sore thing that's like that doesn't match, that's like standing out. And it's like, no, like there's life after it. People do it, people mix and match, you figure it out, you do what works for you in life. The goal is for you to walk the path that God created for you, not to walk somebody else's path. So if this is the path for you, so be it. If not, great, work through it, do the work, but there are some situations where doing the work is not that simple and that it's more, because it takes two people to want to do the work.
Yeah.
So I like what you said about you decided to do therapy. Did you ever do therapy before you got married?
No.
And I think that is very pivotal because so people know my mom is a therapist, and in a lot of ways I always feel like I therapy myself, like I'm my own therapist, because like I talk myself through but when I started going to therapy myself, I sort of kind of could see like there were different things that I needed to work out as an individual. When you're trying to be in the role of a wife, you got to first show up for yourself.
Yeah. 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 And we tried couples therapy and everything. And when couples therapy didn't work, I continued with my own therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, you have yourself, get yourself together.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
Get yourself together. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what was your biggest fear that you were able to overcome, and how did you overcome? I know you talked about like a couple when it came down to divorce. So tell me about one of those biggest fears that actually maybe that you experienced that it actually happened after the divorce, and how you overcame it.
The biggest fear was really the unknown for me.
Okay.
I am someone, I like to have control of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to drive this car and, I know where I'm taking us. I know where we're going. And I don't mean that within, the like relationship. I just mean within myself. Like, all right, this is what we're doing. And so not knowing what I was about to walk into, it was scary for me. I did not know that the divorce was going to take years. I did not know it was going to take a long time and be difficult. And so when I realized, oh snap, like, yeah, this is really, really not going to be easy. I really like laser focused on all the things that really mattered. So it was my health, being a mom, my business. And I was like, if nothing else, I'm going to do all of these things, those 3 things, they're going to be great.
And
And
what? And did.
they were. I remember I cried maybe 2 times during the divorce, the actual divorce. One time, I won't say why. I was like, oh, this what we doing? Oh, this what we doing? You know, and it was like, oh, that, okay. And the second time was the first time the kids had an overnight visit. And I was like, oh snap, this is about to be my life. This is about to be my life. And all the other times, I super leaned into God. Whole time, super leaned into God. And that's actually very short, quick story. The first, when I decided in my business, I wanted to diversify and have e-commerce. One day I was going through those emotions and I was like, I trust God more than I fear this divorce. I trust God more than losing all my money because my divorce attorney was expensive. And I just was saying, I trust God more than this and that. And that's when I came out with the I Trust God More Than I Fear Anything t-shirt, which sold out a couple of times.
And where can people get those now?
That one is coming back out, but my t-shirts are on my website at brittanyvinay.com. I'm wearing the Build a Brand. You can't really see it, but the Building a Brand t-shirt today. Every year I come out with a new one. That's where the Realist Can't Be Replaced came from. That's where my Single Until God Sends Me a Real One tumblers came from. And yeah, I was adamant that I was going to come out with something that I created for myself. And that I wasn't, like, none of this was going to be in vain. And it was very healing for me to do that.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think that oftentimes we have a plan in place in our minds for how we expect something to be. And then like life happens, right? And it's like, wait, this was not the plan. How did we get here? When did we get here? And then we look back and it's like, oh, I really have come a long way. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to do it, but I'm doing it. Tell me about your first holiday. With the holidays coming up, we have Christmas coming up, Thanksgiving just passed. Tell me about your first holiday and what that looked like and all the things.
Oh my gosh. The first holiday, and I don't specifically remember exactly which one it was. But I think enough time had passed where I had become used to, us having a schedule where it was like, well, first of all, he's their dad. He deserves time with them during the holidays just like I do. And that's where my, maturity came in. And I'm very, very grateful that throughout the whole thing, I was graceful. And very poised. I always had a poker face on. I never stoop low. And the blessings overflow because of that.
I love it.
And so
the blessings did what?
They overflowed.
Because why?
I like to think that I let God do what God does. And I didn't need to be nasty. I didn't need to be spiteful. I didn't need to be calculated because I knew God is always working on my behalf. And all I need to do is follow God. And, in following God, that comes with doing things in a respectful way and with grace. And that's what I did. And so, when the holidays came around, I remember like, oh, wow, again, this is the new norm. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I had to remember they're coming back to you. They're coming back to you. You still get your time with them. Now I'm like,
Time to go.
Y'all daddy here. Come on.
Time to go.
It's time to go. But in the beginning, it's tough. It stings. It stings. But I tell people that's going through a divorce, their other parents, especially when they are an active parent, they deserve time with them, and the kids are happy. So let it all do what it do. Just let it be. And use your time, because I know I use my time to do what I wanted to do in that, and those hours, or if it was a day or whatever it was. So yeah.
And how do you think the kids have been adjusting? I know that sometimes when people contemplate this thing, like the first thing you think about is like people stay in it for their kids. And I like to think that there is a world that kids are thriving despite, a divorce. But again, my lens is different because my parents weren't married. So I'm a product of a single parent. So I feel like I came out great.
Yeah.
So like, I don't feel like you gotta say something just because for your child to be great, or for your child to be loved, or for them to feel secure in anything.
Yeah, not at all. The kids are amazing. The one thing about my specific situation was that the kids never really experienced us being like in a happy married, like they never experienced us being like that. My oldest, like she doesn't even really remember us like being in the same house together or anything like that. They were really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this has been their norm.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that mommy and daddy used to be married because I told them. I showed them pictures. I do not hide that from them, because one day they're going to ask. I don't want them to be confused. I never want them to be confused. I never want them to be in a situation where they see other people and like, why? No, they know. Like my mommy and daddy, they used to be married, but they're not married anymore. They love having two of everything.
I mean, that can't be a bad deal. Like
They like two of everything. And they're just doing amazing. And the one thing that makes me proudest is that they see their mom thriving. And I don't know if they would have seen me like this had I stayed married. So literally I'll be dancing around the house all the time. We be having concerts up in here, just having fun. We have fun. And I'm proud of that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So tell me about life after divorce, girl. What's the dating life like? What's happening? I saw a thing on social media, and it said that it's pissed in the pond. Is any truth to that? They said it's a little bit of piss in the pond. And I chuckled, not because I'm laughing at somebody that's in the pond, but I chuckle because who thinks of these things? But not
Renee, I'll say this. Number one, life after divorce is amazing, because now I live life on my terms. And I feel like I strayed from a path that I knew I was going to be on since like high school, right? And so now that I'm back on this path and I'm like, yeah, career's popping, we can travel and stuff. I still I do all the things. I take full advantage of my kids having another parent. You know what I'm saying? Like they have another parent. My free time is lit. And I get to build my business. But two, I'll say this. I enjoy the fact that I know I can have it all. I can be a mom, I can have a great career, and I can experience love. I'm not waiting necessarily for anything. The only thing that I'm waiting for is God. But dating is interesting.
Interesting.
It's
Interesting.
interesting.
Tell me more about the word interesting. What does
Well,
that
now,
mean?
being an entrepreneur, I've
Mhm,
opened myself up to a lot more people, right?
mhm.
And so I'm really, I like dating entrepreneurs. I will say that. Um,
Okay. You have a type.
no, I won't say I have a specific type. Well, I have a type right now. Um, that's my type right now.
That's your type right now?
My type.
Oh.
Um, and yeah,
What are some of the things you like to do with your type right now?
well, one of the things of course the whole dating thing is great, right? Go on dates and you talk, but let me tell you one thing that really just it makes my eyes glisten when you meet a person who understands like where you are, where you've been, because they too have been places and have experienced things. And when they too are like in business and building a business, and you two be like there together, talking about it and motivating each other and giving each other ideas,
Take the wheel.
I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me, what does that look like with integrating your children into the mix?
It looks like me taking my time and enjoying that person, and really getting to know that person before I um bring them into my sacred space, which is my
Mhm.
babies.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I think that oftentimes, especially when we're talking about the sacred space, um, I think that sometimes people bring people into that sacred space a little bit too soon.
Hmm.
And not being judgy
Right.
or anything like that, just saying what is too soon, right? Like
Hmm.
sometimes you'll see a situation and it's like broke up today, dating tomorrow. And like
Yeah.
I definitely didn't grow up in a situation like that. We're seeing like different men in and out. Um, and so I think that definitely has helped shape who I am as an adult and how I operate.
Hmm.
Um, so tell me about co-parenting in general, not just the holidays, but in general.
Co-parenting is great. It's so smooth. And one of the things that I said, even before getting a divorce, I remember talking to him about it. And I was like, I would still want to be this, big, heavy family. First of all, it takes two to do that, right? But what I will say is the kids are able to see us do things together, and be in the same space, and everyone's cool.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I appreciate that. That's all I ever wanted um, from the divorce is for everyone to still be family. And it's smooth. It's just smooth. And I'm grateful.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me some advice. If you could go back to Brittany pre-marriage,
Mhm.
what is some advice you would have given to her?
Find yourself, get lost and find yourself. Um, I would have gone away to college. I would have really experienced college life. When I went to college, I went and worked. I was always a responsible one. I always did things very straight and
We
narrow.
relate in that area. What
Yeah,
what college did you go to?
Towson. I went to Towson for undergrad.
Did you stay on campus or
No,
you okay?
I literally went class work, class work. That was it. That was it.
I think that makes a difference for sure. When I went away to college, I went to UMES, but when I went away to college, I did not, I always feel like I did not experience college. I was always the one that I wasn't really going to any parties. If there was something, I was going to be the designated driver because I wasn't drinking.
Yep.
And I just always had in my mind, like, I don't trust people. I'm not going to, be in a car accident. I don't want to die. I mean, not that anybody wants to die, but like that was my stance on it. And
Yeah.
so I just feel like I did not necessarily experience, I didn't smoke. Like, people like, oh, they got hot. No.
Nope.
Like, and I was the friend that was annoyed if somebody was even doing that. Like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just did not, I didn't do the things that, and I'm not saying that you have to do those things to enjoy college, right? But I don't think that I fully immersed myself into college the way that I should have.
I agree. I get you.
If I could go back, because I lived on campus, but I went home every weekend. Like, I never even went to a homecoming.
Me neither.
I've never been to a UMES homecoming. And I used to joke, people would be like, you're not going to homecoming? Yeah, I'm going home. Like, yep. I was going home every weekend. So if I could go back, that's some of the things that I would definitely say do. And not for any other reason other than figuring out what you like, figuring out who you are and what that looks like.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's so important. I would have traveled. I would have made a lot more friends. I just would have, just lived and young and carefree, still responsible, but carefree. And so now I'm absolutely making up for that.
I think that's great. I think it's like sometimes for me, I feel like I'm going to call myself out. So I'm 35, and a lot of times I feel guilty for doing things, so I overcompensate with my children.
Yes.
So for instance, I'm in law school, but I started law school late. So whereas if I would have just went to undergrad, got out of undergrad and went straight to law school, I would be done. But now I have two small children that are into sports and everything else. So like, for instance, this week, I'm in the middle of finals. I am also, like, the children have sports this week. And this week, Arlen is on working 12-hour days. So that means I have to get up in the middle of the night to study so that I can make sure that I'm at least getting 12 hours of studying in. And then also being vibrant when the kids get home from school so that they're not experiencing like the fun stuff. So like AJ has basketball Mondays and Wednesdays. Avon has basketball Tuesdays and Thursdays, piano lessons on Fridays. So it's like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And I sometimes feel like, is it fair to them that I waited until now to quote unquote live my life? And so, but I also vacillate between I can have it all.
And, I feel like certain things they're temporary. Like, you won't be in law school forever. You're going to graduate. And then, that time, you'll be getting that back.
That's true.
And I think when they grow up, they'll really appreciate you for it. And I think that it'll enhance their own work ethic. At least, that's what I think about mine. And, one thing that I teach them, and at least I say to them a lot, I'm like, do you know why mommy is, working like I do? Do you know why I do the things that I do? And they're like, yeah, that's how we're able to live comfortably. And, when you ask, I'm like, when you ask mommy for something, mommy always says yes. And it's because, I'm working. And I work.
Things are different. They're not asking for like stuff that we was asking for.
Oh.
Like, mine are asking to go to Italy, and like, AJ is like, what are we doing for spring break? And I'm like, well, some kids like just hang out and do local stuff for spring break. And he's like, no, like,
they want to do big things.
Right. Like, we're not getting another stamp on a passport. Like, these are things that they are asking for. And I'm like, listen.
But as a single mom, I definitely, at least for a minute, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be a single mom. Am I going to be able to give them a comfortable lifestyle? It was definitely one of my like fears. And one of the things I told myself, I don't want to tell them no, and I don't want to tell me no. If
Mhm.
it's something that we want or need, I want to be able to have options. I want to say yes. And that's exactly why I work the way I do and what I'm working towards. It's options for me and for them. And so when they ask me for something, if it's super big, I'm like, mommy's gonna figure out a way to do it.
Mhm.
So they know mommy is
I want
she's legit. Yeah, mommy on it. They know. You ask mommy for something, oh, she gonna figure it
happen.
out.
It might not happen today, but
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen.
It's definitely gonna happen. I love it. I love it.
They know not to use
Definitely
certain
think it's a
words.
challenge.
Yeah, they know not to use words like broke, struggle, poor. We don't use those words. We use words like abundance and they know money, 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 money. you know, um, do not ask them if they want $1. They're gonna say no. I need at least 20. I need at least 20. Okay.
Dollar. It ain't even a dollar. Me, it's not even a dollar store. What am I doing with that?
Okay. They know. They know. Okay.
Yes, yes. And I think I definitely think it's true. I try to tell the kids like all the time, like go through school, do all of the things. Your situation is like totally different than my situation. When I went to college, my mom was a single parent. So during breaks, I worked. I didn't have a choice. Like you want to have money, I had a good support system 100%, but I worked. In my first year, I did not work, but starting my second year and the duration of undergrad, I worked throughout the semester as well. So, like, when it comes down to my children, I'm like, you have a different situation. You don't have to do that. You won't have to do that because you have to. I mean, y'all are boys. I want y'all to have good work ethics. I want you guys to grow up and to be able to be self-sufficient.
Yes.
I want you guys to be able to know how to be a man, how to be able to be a provider, a protector, all of the things that a nice, young, wholesome young lady is going to appreciate down the line. But I do also want to instill in them that hard work ethic. So I make it very clear, like when they're going to sleep, they're like, oh, well, are you going to sleep? No, I'm going to go study. So like they say, oh, what are you doing? Mommy has a client.
Yep.
Need you guys to be quiet. So like finding the balance between you not going to have to do all of this because you have to, but like I am following my passion. And then I'm also being a wife, being a mom, being a daughter, all the things.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot for one person. What?
Like where does the time go? I'm always like so when I do the podcast, I always act like Oprah's going to be here because she's going to be here. Like one day I'm going to get a call, like I joke but I'm dead serious. She's going to call me and I'll even take you, but like they're going to call me and I'm going to be ready. So like you sort of kind of have to prepare for that before it gets there, but it comes with the mindset, right? And I'm always like, I want her to call, but when she called, Lord, can I also get like the team, like the glam team to like because it's behind the scenes that people don't get to see. And so when they see it, it seems like it's so easy. Like I think people see a person like, for instance, in law school, and like they look at it like it's just a regular graduate program. I think I talked about this when I had Christy on the podcast, who's in a doctoral program. It's like you see a person come on doing something, and you're like, oh well, I did my master's, it can't be that hard. Or I did this and it can't be that hard. And it's like, if you've never walked in the shoes that I'm actually walking in right now, you have no idea. So just say a prayer. Just say a prayer.
And for anyone who has like friends and family in law school, because I've journeyed with some of my friends and colleagues in law school, let them have their space. They are not ignoring you. They are not like shutting you out of their life. They have a lot of work to do. They need this up here, like they need that space It's a lot to remember. It's a lot to work through. Let them have it. The best thing you can do, offer, do you need anything? Do you need meals? Do you need me to, take the boys? Like, that's what they need from you. They need that support.
Yeah. You summed that up. Like, I think people are always like, and then they ask like the dumb questions like, how are your grades? Don't ask me about my grades.
No.
Don't, because you're stressing me out. You're stressing me out already. Just leave me alone. Just say a prayer. Just say that everything that I'm going to read is going to be retained, and that's what's going to be on the exam. Let's just pray that, okay? Like, no, I'm serious, especially like now. I am on 12-hour days. And that does not include like the things that the kids have to do. So my sleep is like minimal, like very much so. So don't text me and think that you're encouraging me by like saying stuff.
And when it comes time for the bar exam, leave them alone.
You know,
alone.
I have like the biggest thing. Like I feel like I want to take the bar exam, but like don't even tell people when I'm taking it. Like I don't know when I'm taking the bar exam yet.
It's like let them come to you.
Yeah,
don't let them call you.
Y'all gonna know that I took the bar exam because here are the results. That's where we going at. When I graduate law school, there will be no more announcements until talking about it. We're not talking about the bar prep.
No.
When I get the result, we will run and tell the story to the world.
So funny.
Everybody will know, but not a minute before, okay? Not a minute before, because it's just too much. It's too much. It is like extra stress that we don't need.
No.
Let's not even put that type of negativity out there. Like,
I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that you are always supportive because I can text you 5:00 in the morning. Like, and by the time like the afternoon hit, it's together, and I send stuff at the most random time. But you gotta have a good support system around you to understand how you operate. Like, I'm up at all hours of the night and of the morning, and I'm probably a worse friend because then my phone is on do not disturb. So like
for good reason. Good reason.
It's definitely on do not disturb, but no, I love it. I love it. So what advice can you give, what closing advice, words of encouragement that you can give to our viewers and people that may be going through something similar, whether or not they went through a divorce or just a breakup or just a single parent? Let's normalize that some people just don't get married and they single parents, and like, we're not going to condemn them because we don't have a heaven or hell to put them in, and God bless them. So what advice would you have for them?
My greatest piece of advice is to keep going. No matter what, do not stop. You may fall. As soon as you fall, get back up. You might not always have someone to pick you back up or in your ear telling you to get back up. You have to get yourself to a place where you can get you back up, because you know that you have a life ahead of you. And you do. You have a life ahead of you. It's not the end of the world because your relationship, your marriage did not work out. It's not the end of the world that you might be a single parent. It's not. As long as you keep moving, you are one step closer to really living the life of your dreams. But it all depends on you. Every day that you choose to lay in a bed, cry your tears, you are really, you just slowing yourself down. And it's okay to have those moments. It's okay. I've been in the bed crying, oh my God, for like a day. Or I'm doing my work and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I still got these clients. You still have your kids. Have your moment, but keep going. Keep going.
Stuck in the moment.
Don't be stuck in the moment. Because
it's a moment. It's a
moment. And even in the moment, it feels horrible. It feels impossible. I promise you it gets better. It never feels good when you're going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But the light at the end of the tunnel is so big and so bright. Just keep walking towards that.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. I think that that is advice that all of us can use. We can apply that to anything in life. So whether or not you're going through a divorce, or you're just going through a rough patch in life, oftentimes we can get stuck on what's not going right, that we kind of forget all the good things that are going, because somebody got a phone call that they lost a loved one, somebody's lights are out, somebody's car was repossessed, somebody's um went to bed last night hungry, somebody lost their job. It could always be worse. And even if you experience any of the things that I just listed, guess what? Life goes on. That's
Yeah.
one car. You can get another one. That's one time that some lights went off. You're going to get some lights on again. Like, it's okay. And if you're like me, I'm the type of person, I always want to look for the why. Like, what am I supposed to get from this? So in every situation, I'm like, Lord, what you want me to see? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to remember? Who am I supposed to tell?
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I'm supposed to get from this. So I hope that if you are watching, that whatever place you are in life, you can sort of kind of look to see what is the purpose, why are you in that place, so that you can get through it, grow through it, and then help the next person. That's the goal.
Perfectly said.
That's the goal. I didn't go through like, millennial misses came out of my own situation. And I remember those days with postpartum and just like early stages of marriage and how tough it was and is, because life is hard. But I remember when the Lord placed on my heart to do millennial misses, I kept feeling like my situation is not perfect. Why would you call me to help other people when I'm barely getting through it myself? And I put it off for so long because I always felt like I wasn't qualified.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you, but I mean, I do serve a God that He does the qualifying.
Absolutely.
He does the qualifying. So while you might count yourself out because you're feeling like you don't qualify, you can't say anything, whole time you're blessing somebody just by showing up, just by keep pushing and keep going. So you're definitely a light for me, Brittany, because you are so encouraging. And I think that in the world, we kind of, like I said, we make divorce a taboo and such a bad thing, and you have embraced it. You're not out here bashing men. You're not bashing your marriage.
I could, like, no.
But exactly. Because I'm sure nobody just got divorced because things were peaches and cream. So there are some things that you could, and you're choosing that high road. But like you said, the abundance, there was abundance flowing, girl, and it's gonna keep on flowing.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep on flowing. It's not gonna stop. You helping other people, you're encouraging other people. So you keep going. I want to encourage you. You keep going, keep doing all the things that you want to do. You are being that boss mom. You're showing both your daughter and your son what they can be, and who they should be looking to for a wife. Because like that's the other thing, right? Especially as a boy mom, thinking about the type of partners that your sons will look to.
Yeah.
And like you want them to have a helpmate that can help.
Yeah.
I do. Like I want my boys to be providers, protectors, all the things, but I also want them to have helpmates that can do all the things for them as well, for them to have a true partnership that they can lean on each other.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I'm setting a great example for both of them. For really, the type of person that they want to be and the type of partners that they'll want to choose when they get older. And I am in the same, the same breath. This is a great time for me to to choose the type of partner that is in alignment with me, and allowing God to put the person in my life who loves me the way God wants me to be loved. And I'm excited to be able to do that same thing for someone else. So I can't wait for my kids to see that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's so sweet. I can't wait for him to watch this and then to be like, oh, she is the one. Okay, so where can people find you and all the things that you have going on?
Oh, okay. You can visit my personal website at brittanyvinay.com for branding and website design. You can, my website is berealcreativestudio.com, just the letter B. And on socials, you can find me at the Brittany Vinay or Be Real Creative Studio. I'm always on social media. And I look forward to connecting with everyone. And especially if you resonate with my journey, reach out to me. If you need a support system, reach out to me. If you have questions, ask. I'm here for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all for tuning into the Millennial Mrs. Podcast. It has been a pleasure and an honor to have Brittany on today's episode, and I cannot wait to get all of your feedback. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, write in the comments, tell us what you think. Connect with Brittany if you need some support or if you just want to give her some encouragement, because we need encouragement too sometimes. So definitely, this is a safe place. So thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Until the next time, be intentionally unapologetic about you. Period.
Thank you, Trinae.
You're welcome.